joining us as the time goes on. But welcome to the summer session of the 2025 Biomass webinar series. This started off as just a group of some of us informally sharing information and things that we thought would be helpful for others developing, what we hope to be a circular biomass economy, specifically focused in the Midwest to start. And then we thought we might as well put it online and make it more available for everyone. And so I'm delighted that this seems to have gained some traction. We're getting people from around the country at this point. So if you joined early, you probably heard Michelle and I talking about plans to expand this for next year. And you'll probably be receiving some sort of questions from me in the future about what you'd like to see. Okay, with that as preamble, while people join, Rob, would you go ahead and share your screen and I'll do the acknowledgements and we'll turn it over to you.
All right, let me go do that now. And just have to
While Rob's getting that loaded, I'll just make another comment that if your name is not what you'd like it to be in the display space, just hover over your name and it'll give you two blue buttons. One says about unmuting, and then there'll be three little dots over your name. And if you click those three little dots, it'll bring up a window that says, among other things, rename, and you can rename yourself with who you are.
All right, I think I'm ready here. Oh, sorry. Give me 1 second. I had to approve Zoom for sharing here, so.
I can get started on the acknowledgements while Rob brings up the slide. But we are delighted to have sponsorship for this webinar series from a variety of sources. We get support through the U.S. Department of Energy through a few different grants, but notably the Center for Advanced Bioenergy and Bioproducts Innovation, or CABI. We also get support through, thanks, Michelle. We also get support through the U.S. Department of Agriculture through the Diverse Corn Belt Grant, among others. This work is brought to you in part by a collaboration of private funders that support iRegen, a regenerative agricultural initiative led out of the University of Illinois, and a variety of internal groups at the University of Illinois and Iowa State University. So broadly, you'll see hosts from the University of Illinois and in the future from Iowa State University for this meeting. Thanks, Rob.
Okay, I'm back.
Okay. Now we should be ready to turn it over for you. So we'll let you share. I suppose I do have a copy of your slides if we need to go there.
All right.
Oh, there we go.
All right, hopefully you can see that.
Can you make
Yes.
it full screen or like presenter mode?
Sure. All right, there we go.
Oh, we lost it actually.
Oh. And that didn't work. Is it sharing at it, Emily?
No. Let's see.
Try it one more time.
Okay.
We see it again. This is good enough.
Yeah, we'll just go forward with this.
All right. So, all right. Well, appreciate giving me the opportunity to speak, Emily, and thank you all for joining. I'm Rob Tripp. I'm the CEO of Poulterra, and happy to share a little bit of information about who we are, what we're trying to do, and really the role that Miscanthus plays in our platform. So broadly speaking, we are a sustainable agriculture platform that's really focused on bringing a nature-based circular approach to close the loop on poultry waste in the US and doing it at scale. And it's I'll talk maybe a little bit about just the industry because I think a lot of people see poultry, chicken, and turkey in the grocery store, but don't appreciate the scale that it really operates at. And it's a very significant and large market. Between chickens and turkeys, there's over 10 billion birds raised in the US every year, which is a staggering number. This is a heat map that shows the concentration of production of poultry and really the broiler birds, the birds that are used for meat. And a lot of it is in that southeast corridor, and it stretches all the way over to Oklahoma, Arkansas, Missouri. Those are that's the big poultry belt. And those 10 billion birds on average generate a little over 3 pounds of poultry litter. And litter is the combination of the bedding that's used in the poultry house that the birds will bed down on and sleep on, and the manure that they generate. And so over the course of a year, those 10 billion birds generate over 14 million tons of poultry litter and waste. And the industry for decades has used the litter as a fertilizer, and it's gone into really the supporting the agricultural markets. And for years that has worked well, but as you can see from the heat map, the concentration of poultry now has just grown so much. Residential areas have filled in and around it, and that waste is now starting to create some environmental problems. So what we've tried to do is really develop a supply chain solution that addresses that waste. And what's interesting is with all of that waste that's being generated, very, very little of it is being processed into higher value-added products. And so there's a couple of fundamental reasons why that's happening. And there's one is the type of bedding that's used, which is predominantly wood-based shavings, some sawdust. That's a typical bedding product that goes into a large majority of the poultry houses around the US. There's other bedding products that are used like rice hulls. That's predominantly in the Arkansas, Oklahoma area. And what is becoming increasingly more popular is Miscanthus grass. And so Poulterra's ownership today is represented from a number of employees, including myself, and the Miscanthus company, Agritech. And so between Agritech and Poulterra, we're actively working on a solution that will bring more Miscanthus grass into the poultry industry as a bedding product. That solves a lot of problems for us in terms of how we process poultry litter, and I'll get into those in a second. I've spent over 20 years of my career in the renewable fuel space. One of the challenges, there's a lot of good ideas out there. There's a lot of technologies that have been developed to implement those ideas. Getting the first one financed is always the challenge. So today in the US, there is no active operating facility that converts large volumes of poultry litter into higher value products. There's a little bit of poultry litter being combusted to generate power, and then some other uses on a small scale, but nothing that we see here in the US that is similar to what's happening in Europe. In Europe, they are farther ahead in terms of processing manure and poultry waste, and we've partnered with a company there that's doing it at scale today. that really helps solve one of the issues, especially from a financing perspective, is having a mature technology to rely on to scale up the business. So a lot of those constraints really have made it difficult to take poultry litter and process it at scale into higher value products. So we take a bit of an interesting approach to how we do this. And it really starts with Miscanthus. And Miscanthus is really core to our platform and is a real differentiator for us in the market. We've created something that we call manure as a service. I'll get into that in a little more detail. But essentially, what it means is we will grow Miscanthus grass on the poultry grower's property or nearby, provide them that grass in a harvested format that they can use as bedding. And then in exchange, we take the previous year or 18 months worth of litter that's accumulated in the poultry house, and we use that as our feedstock for an anaerobic digestion platform. And in that platform, we'll process poultry litter into really 4 key products. One is renewable natural gas. The other is a liquid beverage grade CO2 product, and then 2 types of fertilizers. And those are all high quality commercial grade products that we can move into the market and effectively capture more value, and at the same time solve some of the sustainability challenges that communities that are involved in poultry production face, which is the land application of litter, and where we see often nutrient runoff due to rains and associated water pollution. So effectively, our platform will get all of that litter off of the fields where it can run off and into a format that can be utilized in a more sustainable way. So we have really 3 core sections in our value chain. Manure as a service is essentially focused around using Miscanthus grass. Each of our projects will use over 3,000 acres of Miscanthus grass to provide bedding into the associated broiler houses, the poultry houses where poultry is grown. We have our partnership with a company, technology provider in Europe, where we rely on their platform to convert that poultry litter into the higher value products. We're also leaving optionality in our technology platform to handle other waste forms. So that can be anything from the waste coming in from a poultry processing facility, other food production, any organic waste we'll be able to bring in and combine with our process. So it becomes a very scalable platform that can not only handle poultry waste, but any other localized waste that may have to go to landfill or is challenging to dispose of. So getting into our manure as a service, this is really the key and heart of what we do. We get rid of wood shavings, and one of the challenges, especially on the east coast of the U.S., is that a lot of the sawmills that produce lumber, that industry has become very competitive. It operates at a very significant scale right now. A lot of the smaller sawmills have been shut down just because they can't compete on a cost basis with a lot of the larger operations. And secondary, the wood waste that's coming off of a sawmill has found a lot of higher value alternative locations to go to other than being used as poultry bedding. Poultry has used wood shavings, sawdust as a bedding material, largely because it was inexpensive. A lot of the wood waste coming off of sawmills today, especially on the Eastern Seaboard, is being pelletized and sent to Europe for biomass power generation. So as a poultry grower, it's become increasingly difficult to source and supply on a cost-effective basis the bedding for a poultry house. So having a locally grown Miscanthus grass bedding as an alternative has been very well received in the industry today. So for Poulterra, we really manage that whole life cycle of bedding all the way through to the litter cleanup for the poultry integrator or poultry grower. And we've had a lot of very positive reception to that, largely because it's a very time consuming process for a poultry grower to coordinate finding wood shavings bedding. It's often coming in from over 500 miles away. It's become very expensive. And trying to time the shipment and delivery of the wood shavings so that it can go immediately into a poultry house and get spread is challenging too. It's difficult to clean out a poultry house because of the time constraints for which litter can be land applied. That's typically in the spring and the fall, where it can be put onto fields. And so the industry as a whole is often trying to clean out in the same period. It makes it difficult to find a company to come and clean out the house that has the equipment to do it. And it's becoming increasingly difficult to find a home for the litter. There's been just decades and decades of poultry litter being land applied. A lot of land in and around a poultry processing operation is very saturated with phosphorus because of all the application of litter. So there's, in a lot of locations, constraints on how much you can land apply as well. So for a poultry grower that may have 12 houses that has to coordinate all of the tonnage of bedding to come in, the clean out of all those houses, and then the logistics around moving the litter off of their property and selling it to somebody can take up a very significant amount of their time. So we've had great reception to a process and our manure as a service offering, in that we take the headache of trying to find bedding and the cost out of the equation for them. We manage the delivery of the bedding, the clean out of the services, and we take the litter away. And we do that on an annual basis every 12 to 18 months. And we'll enter into contracts with those poultry growers for that bedding for litter exchange for up to 10 years. So for a poultry grower, it gives them a lot of certainty on their costs for that part of the operation. That's something that they don't have today. And we take the burden and the time constraint that comes with having to manage that off of them. And so that's been very well received. For us, it carries a pretty significant impact on how we finance a project. Being able to secure our feedstocks on a 10-year basis and essentially have a fixed cost for what those are is really critical to project financing. So that's been one of the key benefits to our manure as a service, is that we can secure our feedstock to run the anaerobic digestion facility for 10 years and really understand what that's going to cost us. That's very difficult to do in the industry today, largely because of the price variability on bedding and the difficulties in sourcing it. The poultry grower will have to be able to commit to selling their litter at a fixed price, really without knowing how much it's going to cost to replace that litter with bedding. And they're often very reluctant to enter into those types of arrangements. So we solve a lot of those challenges, and this is very unique in the industry today. One thing that's been great, as we've been developing Poulterra, has been working with Agritech. Agritech has been in the poultry bedding business now for close to 15 years. It's a very well-established product as a bedding product. It compares and competes against wood shavings on both performance and price. On performance, we're seeing better results. We're improving the livability of birds, which means it's a more efficient process for both the poultry grower and the large poultry companies. There's less issues with foot disease, and just the ability for the birds to have a better environment to grow is substantially better. So it's a better environment for birds. We have higher rates of efficiency in raising the birds, and overall it gives them, the poultry growers, security around that bedding supply and an ability to plan their operations in a much better way. all that translates back into being able to run an overall processing facility more efficiently, and to be able to have a standardized operation where today the bedding used is really up to the poultry grower, and when they clean out, the frequency is up to the poultry grower as well. So here we're putting the same bedding across all of the growers that are raising birds, and we're cleaning them out at the same time. So that's the first time the industry is really having that standardized operating capability for that product. Talking a little bit about agritech again, Miscanthus is, I would say, a developing commercial crop. Agritech has really led the way in the U.S., and it's been 15 years of development that they've been scaling up not only the number of planted acres that they have, but the technologies and how they grow, process, plant, and harvest Miscanthus as well. Historically, a lot of this has been done by hand. Agritech has really led the way in automating the overall supply chain around growing and harvesting Miscanthus right now, and have made it far more economical and efficient than it was 15 years ago. So a lot of great work has been done there, and we're happy to have Agritech as our partner here. We see a lot of scale up in what we're doing just from a poultry litter demand basis. But it's important that Miscanthus can scale with that. I'll talk a little bit about that later here. From a technology perspective, I mentioned earlier, having a proven technology platform is really critical to getting these projects financed and off the ground, because there are none in the U.S. operating today. We have to go to Europe, and we've partnered with a company called Green Create. Green Create has built, over the last 13 years, 7 poultry litter and poultry waste processing facilities across Europe and South Africa. This is the largest one that they've done to date. It's in the Netherlands, where the Netherlands have very strict nitrogen permitting requirements and are very strict on how waste, and especially manures, are land applied and what can be done with them. They've effectively put in regulation that limits the land application of poultry litter. So this has been a great solution to be able to serve that market. And this is essentially the same technology that Poulterra will rely on for its operations. We've spent the last 2 years working with Green Create, testing our litter in their system, and really working through the engineering of our first project with them. They're a great technology partner for a number of reasons, but one of the ones that was very attractive to me is that they have in-house engineering. They've done all the process design for this system. They've iterated that design across 7 facilities, but they're also the operators of the facility as well. That's you get a lot of learnings, insights, and knowledge if you're operating a facility versus just providing the engineering. So they're a great partner for us. They're assisting us across both the process design and engineering, but also on the operational side as well. A quick snapshot on our first project. This is in North Carolina, where we're working with the integrator Mount Air Farms. Our first project is targeting 165,000 tons a year of Miscanthus litter. That's actually a little bit smaller than the Green Create facility that's in the Netherlands right now. And it will be targeting to start 100% poultry litter. We are leaving room for additional feedstocks that we can add to that. And we'll generate a very sizable amount of products coming out of this, namely 650,000 MMBTUs of renewable natural gas. This will put this project as one of the largest renewable natural gas facilities in the U.S. We're leaving room to double capacity. So these are very large scale operations from a gas production perspective. And then we'll also be producing some organic certified fertilizers in the form of an ammonium bicarbonate, as well as a pelletized fertilizer that will be largely the remaining digestate that comes out of the digesters after you've captured all of the gas and CO2. And then lastly, we'll be producing 25,000 tons of liquid CO2, and that will be produced to a beverage grade. We're working, we have a partner in Maryland that is a large CO2 and gas distributor. They'll be taking some of our supply, but the poultry industry are very large consumers of liquid CO2 as well. They use it throughout their process in processing birds. So we'll be able to put it back into their system and use that there. So it's a very nice circular platform that we have. The poultry integrators like Mount Air are also looking at the use of the RNG to fuel their fleets and help reduce the carbon footprint of those, as well as reduce some of the cost. And even some of our fertilizers can go back into the row crop markets and help provide the fertilizer inputs to the row crops that poultry uses today. So we're very pleased with the overall circular nature of our platform and really the role that Miscanthus plays in that. This slide really talks to the financeability of our projects, and we've taken an infrastructure approach, which means to really de-risk the project as much as possible. You have to have a proven technology that really carries no risk. Will it work or will it not? You know, that can't be a binary outcome. It has to be essentially guaranteed to work. Our partners in Green Create, go a long way for us to be able to check that box. That's a very important one. The other is on the ability to reduce the merchant risk, the price and supply risk of both your feedstocks and how you sell your finished products. All of our products are being sold on a term basis, so we've locked them in over a course of from 3 years up to 20 years, depending on the product, and at a fixed price. So we're able to guarantee a revenue stream from all the products. And then with the poultry growers, we're entering into 10+ year contracts to provide bedding in exchange for litter. That is also at a fixed price. So gives us an opportunity to take a lot of the risk out of operating a facility, ensure that it can always be profitable, and essentially removing the technology risk is a major factor as well. All of these things are the things that go towards making a project financeable. And a big part of the reason that you don't see this type of project operating in the US today is because there just hasn't been a way to address and deal with these risks in a meaningful way. So we feel we've been able to do something very different in the space, address those risks, and have something that can grow and scale into the future here, and be able to manage the very large amounts of litter that are being land applied today, and improve that overall supply chain from both a cost and sustainability perspective. So we've got some very specific sustainability goals. We believe that each project will reduce up to 500,000 tons of CO2 equivalent emissions. And that's through a combination of the renewable natural gas, the CO2, and the fertilizers. Beyond the emissions perspective, though, we really touch on improving sustainability across water, air, and soil. And there's a number of touch points where we do that. Miscanthus has proven to be a very effective nutrient buffer. So planting it along watersheds and along the field borders, it's been very effective in reducing runoff and nutrients into watersheds. So it gives us a great tool to not only provide bedding into the poultry industry, but a way to protect the watersheds that it operates in as well. A lot of our poultry growers are planting Miscanthus around their farms, around their poultry houses. Miscanthus will grow over 12 feet tall and it's been a very effective tool to mitigate odors and migration of odors from poultry farms. We've seen really good use there. And Miscanthus is a perennial grass. So every year the root system goes a little deeper, gets thicker. We're putting a lot of carbon back into the soil. We're improving the soil health. So in a lot of areas where the yields on row crops may be marginal, Miscanthus can step in, play a very effective role as a crop. We can provide a annual fee to leasing land, and over time we're greatly improving the quality of that soil just because of all the carbon that we're putting back into it. So it's a great way to take land that is marginally productive, turn it into more productive land, but at the same time provide a more guaranteed revenue stream back to that landowner. And then lastly, Miscanthus is really a carbon negative plant for us. That root system and the amount of carbon that we put back into the soil, plus the above ground carbon that we're able to utilize, has been a very effective tool for sequestering carbon for us. So, our approach on sustainability really sits on top of everything that we do. And we're always working on ways to improve across each of these different segments. So talking about scaling, today we're targeting 12 large projects across the Eastern Seaboard. That's going to require roughly 84,000 acres of Miscanthus. So the scalability of Miscanthus is important to us here, and partnering and working with Agritech is really critical to being able to manage that scale up. Miscanthus alone will reduce 250,000 tons a year in CO2, as well as contribute to all of those other sustainability benefits. So we really target marginal acres where we can make an improvement on both soil health and provide that additional revenue stream back to landowners. So the ability to scale Miscanthus has been very positive because of that. And from all of that, that will generate over 700,000 tons of bedding for us, of which 15% roughly is made up in our overall feedstock going into a digester. So without Miscanthus, we wouldn't be able to do what we're doing today. And we see a lot of benefits from it over the alternative bedding product in wood or rice, especially from a digester perspective. That's one thing I didn't touch on, but Miscanthus has a lot less lignin in it than wood. Wood is not a great feedstock for an anaerobic digester because you just don't have enough time to break it down and utilize it as a feedstock. So it's really inert and flows through a digester and doesn't generate any gas. With Miscanthus, we see a 25% increase in gas production over wood. So it's a very significant amount of additional gas for us. And then downstream in our process, having wood as part of your fertilizer also isn't good. Wood just isn't a fertilizer, and so it takes up space where other carbon and nutrients might exist. Because Miscanthus does break down in the digester, we're actually getting fertilizer value out of it as well. So Miscanthus plays a very important role across our entire supply chain and production, and we're really excited to be involved with University of Illinois, working to scale it up, working to understand its carbon footprint better, and excited to start building these projects. So thank you very much, and happy to answer any questions.
Thank you so much, Rob. That was a great presentation. We do have a few questions that have come up in the chat that I'll just get started. So Dean, do you want to ask your question or do you want me to do it? I'm happy to go ahead, but.
Oh, either one. I really like the idea of exchanging the Miscanthus litter, the Miscanthus bedding material for the litter. My question is, how often do you recommend putting in new Miscanthus bedding and removing the litter, and what drives that? Is it economics or nutrients, etc.?
Well, today, Dean, that's really driven by the poultry integrator. They have a best practice on when they clean out. For us, we try and work with that. But the most value to us for the litter is having a more frequent clean out. So we're targeting between 12 and 18 months. The gas value in litter that goes beyond 18 months starts to fall off. So you're not getting as much value for it in a digester from a gas production perspective. So, today we target 12 to 18 months. That fits in with the integrator's point of view on best practices, and they're comfortable with that clean out cycle. I think over time, we may get to a point where we increase that. And in a lot of other countries that have sizable amounts of poultry production, they replace the litter with bedding after every flock. So, I'm not sure if we'll get to that point in the US, but 12 to 18 months is our target.
Great. We have another one from Dave Gerlman that I was curious about as well. Can you comment on the non-monetized waste that might come from the system? So you talked about the fertilizer, but often with a digester system, there's some sort of a compost or residual waste. Is that all able to be monetized in the Poulterra system?
The majority, Emily, we are able to monetize. We have a small amount of waste that is recycled as part of our wastewater. So there's some salts that we have to deal with and get rid of. But that's largely it. And those go into a conventional wastewater treatment facility.
Great. So no kind of big scooping out of the digester.
No, no. The one nice thing with us is, the more homogeneous your feedstock for a digester can be, you've got a lot more control over how well it operates, and you've got a lot more consistency in what comes out of it as well. And so, because we're focused, right now on just poultry litter, we're working with one poultry integrator who controls all of the feed going into all of the poultry houses, and all the bird genetics are the same. So we have the same birds, the same feed that gets fed to all the birds. So all of our litter on a manure basis is the same. And by using the same bedding across all of those growers, we have a very consistent feedstock coming into our system. That really helps us manage the operational side of the business, but downstream, the digestate is also very homogeneous. So as we make our liquid and solid fertilizers, there's not a lot of variability in those products, and we're able to utilize the majority of the digestate that comes out.
Great, thank you. Other questions for Rob? Eric, did you have one?
Yeah, I had a question. Like all the Miscanthus, all the litter for making natural gas, and can the growers themselves utilize some of this natural gas to heat their buildings?
Great question, Eric. And the answer is maybe. A lot of growers are not connected to a natural gas line to heat their houses. A lot of them have to rely on propane. So, it's difficult for us to be able to deliver containers of propane to a poultry farm. We just wouldn't be able to do that as cost effectively as how it's being done today. All of the renewable natural gas that we produce, we will inject into a pipeline, and it can be monetized and sold to whatever end user is looking to purchase it from there. So if a poultry grower is on a natural gas line and is heating their home from it, then it's definitely possible. And same thing with the fertilizers. That'll be something that we'll be able to offer to local growers and farmers, is a supply of organic fertilizers. So we try and work with the local community to the greatest extent that we can, and it's been we've had very positive feedback on what we're doing. I think one of the biggest things that we have received feedback on is we're just getting rid of the smell. 165,000 tons of litter spread over however many acres has a pretty sizable odor to it, and that's twice a year. So a lot of the residents in communities where poultry has a pretty dense concentration, that's something that we are able to solve there too. So, but yes, to answer your question, the gas can be sold, but you need the delivery infrastructure to make that happen.
A related question on heating. We went to Europe about, it's been 10 years now, to see how they're growing miscanthus and utilizing it. A lot of it, the chips were used to replace wood chips directly for combustion in large scale and small scale to heat a house with. And if you do the math, you can certainly compete with LP gas. I've often wondered if poultry litter could be burned as well, and what are the ramifications of that, and how economical is that, and without trying to convert it to natural gas. I would think that would be more adaptable on a smaller scale farm to actually just burn the litter.
There's some instances of that happening right now, and poultry litter can be a challenging feedstock for combustion because the moisture content of it is quite variable. So to be able to operate a biomass boiler system that uses it as a source of combustion, you have to have a reasonably consistent moisture level. In the winter months with poultry, you'll have a lot more moisture in the material, and when you are aggregating litter from, say, 100 different houses, that variability can just be very challenging to operate reliably. And we've seen that. There's a place in North Carolina doing it right now. There was another very large power generation facility in Minnesota that had to shut down because they couldn't manage that reliably. So it can be done. It just comes with its own set of challenges.
Okay.
Thanks for that. And I think we'll take one more question. Bradford, do you want to unmute and ask the questions that you posted in the chat?
Yes, thank you. So I was wondering if there's interest in herbaceous perennial crops besides miscanthus for this type of work, and what the kind of difference performance metrics are for those, if you know them, and then if this process could easily switch between different feedstocks if availability changed. Is there any chemical considerations regarding kind of that change in feedstock?
Sure. So the bedding component is miscanthus is the bedding that has been proven much more so than any other biomass right now. The poultry industry really doesn't have one single type of bedding that they rely on. It's a function of economics and availability. And so in some areas, they've used oat hulls, they've used ground up peanut shells, a lot of kiln dried wood shavings are the gold standard, and it's largely a function of the absorbency of the bedding material. Controlling moisture in a poultry house is really critical to the performance. And if you have a lot of excess moisture, then there's just a number of other things that you have to start doing and spending money on to manage around that. So with respect to other perennial grasses, we haven't had any experience with that to date. And if we did, we would really want to see how well that alternative grass performed as a bedding product. That if it doesn't work for the poultry grower or the poultry integrator, it just would be very difficult for us to be able to support it. So, that's been really one of the great benefits of working with Agritech. They've been growing Miscanthus specifically for poultry bedding for over 15, well, for close to 15 years now, and have done a tremendous amount of work really validating it as a bedding product and quantifying all of the performance and characteristics that it brings, as an alternative bedding product. So that took a long time to do. It takes a while to earn the trust of both poultry growers and integrators, and it doesn't happen overnight. So, I've been very impressed with how they've been able to grow the business around that. But that's not to say that there's no other alternatives available. There's probably several, but it's just a long road to go to validating them. With respect to our technology platform, we're designing it right now to be as flexible as possible. So that's both on an incoming feed basis. How you manage and handle inbound feed is depending on what it is. You have to have certain requirements. We've tried to design it to accommodate a number of different products. And then downstream, we have probably more complexity in our system than what you would typically see in an anaerobic digestion unit that processes manure, because we're really valorizing the digestate in ways that you don't typically see in dairy, in swine, or food waste, where we're separating out ammonia as a separate product, separating out essentially the carbon and the rest of the nutrients as a separate product, and having all of the capability for managing those higher levels of ammonia in the digester. That poultry litter is a little unique in the as a feedstock because of how much ammonia it has in it. So our systems and facilities are designed really on purpose to have that flexibility. So we will be able to bring in additional feedstocks. We'll probably keep the poultry litter segregated and on its own, just so that we don't disrupt the downstream fertilizer products and their nutrient profile, and we keep that very consistent gas production as well. So we're leaving room to essentially coexist for other products and waste streams to coexist alongside poultry.
That's a great way to wrap things up, as we, often think about the biomass industry as starting with Miscanthus, but enabling a more diverse portfolio of crops for us to choose from. Let's thank Rob one more time. Well, I'll try to. There we go. Thanks, Rob. We really
Thanks,
appreciate
Emily.
it. As always, this will be archived on YouTube. I think that was in the meeting invitation that that Michelle sent out, but it's on the IC YouTube channel. And we'll see you next week for Dr. Jeremy Martin from the Union of Concerned Scientists to talk about biofuels policy as ag policy. Have a great rest of your week, everyone.